Shobha, of course, has, as I mentioned, been the woman who has been fighting tirelessly for Bilkis Bano. And Shobha, of course, in the court today, the Manipur Viral video, the women who were on that video was the immediate context, but there were other cases that were also referenced, including one reported by me, by Mojo story, which involves the rape and murder of two young women who are car wash employees. And the point that you and others made, and there we can see those women, their identities withheld, they were raped and murdered. In their case too, the FIR was registered on the 16th of May, and there's still not been a single arrest. In fact, their families have not even got the bodies of these women that are lying still in a hospital morgue. Shobha, the petition that you registered in the Supreme Court said it was on behalf of we, the women of, the women of India. This is not on behalf of Shobha. This is not on behalf of Barkha. This is not on behalf of even just only the two women in that viral video. You believe this is an inflection point for women. Explain the concept of filing a petition on behalf of we, the women. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Yeah.
Barkha ji, this organization works for all the causes of women, maybe for empowerment, upliftment. Certainly when you're talking any cause of women, you would be talking of the safety, their right to survive, their right to live with dignity, and their right to have justice. Now, how come you as a woman of India or otherwise be sitting tight, quiet, without reacting when you see the video which we all saw on 19th of July? We all were watching Manipur, we all were witnessing. But I believe that video which became viral on 19th of July shook us all. And, it was difficult to sleep. It was difficult to justify your existence unless you speak on issues like this. So that was a compelling reason. And, we have been through such cases. Like I have been, as you said, dealing with Bilkis case since long. I have been very, very, directly associated with Delhi riots. I was myself holding camps there for 18 days. Yeah. So I know how it feels when, your house is burned, arson, people murdered, all people around you are murdered, all your relatives murdered, women raped, and then the helplessness to continue to live in the relief camp. Nobody turns up to you, and where to go?
Yeah.
You are simply ensuring your 2 times meal in the relief camp. If you go back and see those burned houses, what do? You have no money left, nothing, no support system. You don't know if you go there, are you surviving? And yes, we are very particular in our application. We are not talking any community. This is a communal violence. This is a sectarian violence. But we are not siding any particular community, any woman across the board.
Yes, that's very important.
For this, we are with her.
I think that's a very important point that you are actually making. You're saying, though this is sectarian violence, it doesn't matter which community, Meitei or Kuki or any other community that a woman belongs to. If a woman has suffered, you are with her. Now, my question to you is this. Where do you want this fight to start? Chief Justice Chandrachud had many questions for the government. And one of the interveners in the case, lawyer Bansuri Swaraj, she said, what about the violence in other states? And the Chief Justice said at that point, are you saying that if we can't protect all daughters, we should protect no daughters? And he left it there as a question. What did you think of that? And the fact that he said, don't conflate this with Nirbhaya. Nirbhaya was a one-off incident. This is systemic violence.
So Chief said it, this is a systemic violence. Now, Nirbhaya, we all agitated. That was a single incident, but horrific one. We all agitated. Bilkis, we have all lived all along with the Bilkis case. And Muzaffarnagar, there are n number of instances we can keep mentioning. Unfortunately, tirelessly, the names change, the places change, the dates change. What continues to remain is that women are being used as an instrument of violence. Now, maybe whosoever wants to raise all such issues should be raised, if there are any such issues. But you can't club two states together. It was not a PIL which was dealing with all rape cases in the country. It was dealing with all these petitions were dealing with a particular issue, that is, a state is burning. The women are being used as instrument of violence. Please help them. Take some measures. And, offense is done. Offense should not continue. That's one aspect. But who suffered, who are right now living in relief camps, they have to be taken back to their homes. But there are no homes. So the homes have to be reconstructed. Who would do that? Who would provide funds? Even to do that, Barkhaji, there is a stumbling block. When I was doing Delhi riots, the major question was why the people continue to go back and see their burnt houses, burnt shops. But where comes the stumbling block is you can't remove them. Why? Because investigation has to proceed. For that investigation team, first they have to register an FIR. Then the IU has to visit the place of occurrence to see the site of offense, site of crime. Photographs have to be taken, site map has to be prepared. From there, the investigation has to begin. Now, the moment you clear the debris, you clear the all the roughages what you are showing right now.
Yeah.
How would the investigation start? So, meaning thereby put brick by brick, have an SIT, let that SIT visit the places, let them do it at least 10 cases a day or 20 cases a day. Take photographs, record their statements, lodge the FIR, then with consent, allow them to remove the debris of at least those 20 houses. And then at a war speed through the armed forces, let the rebuilding job be done.
Can I ask you something? You've mentioned an SIT repeatedly. SIT, of course, is a special investigative probe. Now, the center also placed an affidavit before this hearing, and the center said we want this particular case to be investigated by the CBI and moved out of Manipur. What is the difference between a CBI probe and an SIT?
See, unfortunately, the way so far the situation has been handled by the governments, be it the central government or the state government, unfortunately, we are compelled to say the people, the Manipuri people who are suffering this are compelled to say they don't have faith in anyone now. Now, if they don't
they don't trust the CBI.
You may trust, I may trust, the court may trust, the government officers who are appearing, the senior judicial officers who are representing the government in the court, they may have faith. But what do you do if the people who are suffering, who have to be investigated, who against whom the crime has been committed, say we don't have faith? Now, how do you generate faith? For their confidence, you appoint an independent team who should not only be an inquiry commission, who should not only be a fact-finding commission, but a team who can investigate under the provisions of CRPC.
Would it be enough for the Supreme Court to oversee the CBI probe, or that would not? You would oppose that also?
I believe you should have people independent than CBI. CBI, they may have one or two persons in that team, but you should have people who are outside CBI also.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you, one of the points that you and others who were arguing in the court today made is that while this one video jolted India, there are multiple instances of sexual violence that have taken place. In fact, we reported one of them, which I think I shared with you as well, where we spoke about how another rape and murder had taken place on the very day, I know Vrinda Grover raised this in court today, on the very day that the viral video assault took place. These two girls, they were cousins, they were friends. One was 21, one was 24. They were employees at a car wash. Their families have not been able to retrieve the bodies. Those bodies are still lying at a morgue in hospital. So it's very important for the country to understand this is not one case of sexual violence. We may be talking about widespread sexual violence, multiple cases. Isn't that correct?
Actually, yes. The Chief Minister of the state said there are hundreds such FIR, such instances. Yes. So the Chief Minister himself admitted, and that has been widely publicized, that, published all over, that he said there are hundreds of such cases. And on top of it, assume for a moment there are only two, but one has to ascertain this. Yeah. Why in our country, even after 3 months, we do not have a very concrete information